on journalism in Goa. The categories: Best Indian Language Journalist, Best English Language Journalist, Best Electronic Media Journalist, Best Editor of the Year, Exemplary Contribution to the Press Room. These awards carry a cash prize of 10,000 and a plaque. There is also a Lifetime Achievement Award, which carries a cash prize of 25,000 and a plaque. Announcing the first award, the Best Indian Language Journalist Award. 18 years ago, he started as Panji reporter for Dainik Pudhari. In 2001, he joined Gomantak and later became its chief reporter. 4 years back, he joined as special correspondent at Lokmat Panji and is now its bureau chief. His Sunday column Rajniti scans the political space in Goa. A published poet, he has been a recipient of the Lambert Mascarenhas Award from the Goa Union of Journalists. He was also awarded by Eco Goa. A big round of applause for Mr. Sadguru Patil of Lokmat. Mr. Patil, could I please request you to say a few words?
नमस्कार. व्यासपीठावर बसलेले सगळे मान्यवर, पद्मभूषण प्रभू, प्रभू चावलाजी आदरणीय आणि अन्य सगळे मान्यवर. खरं म्हणजे खूप अशा प्रकारचे पुरस्कार मेळटा त्यांना आमची जबाबदारी वाटता, विशेषतः जर्नलिस्ट असता त्यांची जबाबदारी वाटता. पुरस्कार खूप असता, परंतु केन्ना केन्ना कोण दिता काय महत्व असता. केन्ना केन्ना पैसे दिवनय पुरस्कार विकत घेवपी मनीस असतात आणि दिवपी मनीस असतात. हांगा एक बरें आशिल्लें की 100राचो थेट संबंध ते सिलेक्शन प्रोसेसा वांगडा नाशिल्लो, त्यामुळे तो पुरस्काराची हे व्हॅल्यू चड वाडलो अशें म्हाका दिसता आणि ह्या पुरस्काराची प्रतिश्ठा जपपाची जबाबदारी आमचेर आसा. हांव अशें म्हणिना की जाका पुरस्कार मेळटात तेच खूप श्रेष्ठ असतात अशें कांय ना. म्हज्या पेक्षा बरें कॉन्ट्रिब्युशन पत्रकारितेक केल्ले म्हज्याय कमी वयाचे खूप भुरगे आसात. म्हाका दिसता की हांवें हो पुरस्कार तेंच्या वतीन स्विकारला. हांव तुमच्या सगळ्यांचे आभार मानता. धन्यवाद.
Best English Language Journalist. He is the enfant terrible of Goa's journalism. Writing fearlessly and without mincing words, he today contributes to Indo-Asian news service, firstpost.com and others. He would be best described as a journalist with a fire in his belly. Mayabhushan Nagvenkar, a big hand please. Mr. Mayabhushan Nagvenkar of Indo-Asian News Service. Nagvenkar.
I'll just take like a 10-minute thing. I'd like to thank everyone responsible for this award, and somehow a lot of journalists in Goa have not managed to vibe and sync with the online face of the profession. I think this money, the 10,000 bucks, I tried like to offer it to Guj for maybe developing a website, or just increasing this industry between the media and the profession. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.
The next award, Best Electronic Media Journalist. He's known to be the first to break stories on the audio-visual media. Starting with one camera and one computer and virtually no budget, he launched his TV channel in 2004 and has been known to put in a lot of energy and passion to his media space. Owner and editor-in-chief of the 24-hour Marathi News and Entertainment Television is Mr. Anil Laad. Mr. Anil Laad of In Goa.
व्यासपीठावर उपस्थित सर्व मान्यवर, विशेष करून माझे गुरु प्रभू चावलाजी, ज्यांच्याबरोबर मला काम करण्याची संधी मिळाली आज तक मध्ये असताना, मी फक्त इतकंच म्हणेन की माझं नाव या पुरस्कारासाठी या सगळ्यांनी सांगितले किंवा सुचवले त्या सर्वांचे आभार, आणि तसंच गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्सने पण याची दखल घेऊन या पुरस्कारासाठी मला विश्वासात घेतलं, याबद्दल त्यांचेही आभार. या पुरस्कारामुळे मला कल्पना आहे की आमची जबाबदारी आणि वाढली आहे. मी पुन्हा एकदा तुम्हा सगळ्यांचे आभार मानून मला 2 शब्द धन्यवाद.
Best Editor of the Year. In journalist circles, he is known as a supercomputer for having data and numbers at the back of his hand. A gentleman journalist is what he is described as. He has been at the helm of affairs at Goa Today, Goa's first English news magazine. Mr. Vinayak Naik, Editor-in-Chief of Goa Today.
Respected everybody present here this evening, at the outset, I would like to make it pretty clear that I am reading out this acceptance address and not addressing you off the cuff as I would have liked to do because of the time factor, which makes it almost mandatory for me to speak to you here very succinctly. Ordinarily, when I am asked to address an audience and when I am also given the freedom to talk forgetting the clock, I am really at my best. Nothing inhibits me in extemporizing my talks then. That's because I know that I can go on and on, absolutely unhindered by the factor of time. Not only till the cows come home, but till the bulls and buffaloes get back home as well. Well, getting felicitated here today by the GCCI at the hands of an eminent journalist of the stature of Mr. Prabhu Chawla, a man I have always admired from the distance, all these years, and also speaking in front of all of you, composing this imposing gathering at this marvelous place, really gives me an indescribably joyous feeling. In fact, I feel doubly happy this evening because this award, which has come my way, is specifically in recognition of my effort as editor over the years. It is not that I have never been felicitated before. It has in fact happened a few times at different places. But this one is really a very important one for me, and it's unique too, as far as I am concerned, simply because because it's the first time I'm being felicitated in appreciation of my endeavor purely as an editor. In other words, it's my maiden editorial laurel. It's something I'm always going to treasure, more so because of the fact that it has come to me from the GCCI, an august establishment and arguably the only one of its kind wedded to the cause of propping up business and industry in Goa. My previous felicitation was organized 3 years ago. That was at Boring, the occasion being the annual Boring Utsav. That was an acknowledgement of my role purely as a journalist, since I was adjudged the Journalist of the Year on that occasion by the organizers of that fiesta. But here, receiving the award the award means I'm being honored. Here, Editor of the Year award means I'm being honored a little bit more. It's like moving one level up. Since the BCCI prize is not just for my being a journalist, but for being a journalist plus, an editor. Well, since this award is in connection with my editorship, it would be in the fitness of things that I restrict myself to talking about almost 2 decades long, my 2 decade long and unbeaten editorial innings only. An innings which has seen me bring out as editor as many as 208 issues of the monthly magazine I'm in charge of, and which goes by the name Goa Today. Well, so far I'm racing, please. Let me speak. Well, so far I have already had a stay spanning over 27 years with Goa Today, and during this seemingly marathon period, I'm happy to say I have had quite a big hand in bringing out as many as 328 issues of this magazine, and on the top at that. Incidentally, Ala Sachin Tendulkar, who I gather can recall all his dismissals in international cricket, I too can recall in their serial order each and every cover story which Goa Today has carried over the last 29 years, since 1985 that is, the time when the ownership of the periodical changed hands. For that matter, you may find it interesting, I can recall all the 100 international cricket hundreds of Sachin Tendulkar also. But that's a different story, and rather irrelevant to the subject I'm supposed to be speaking on here this evening. Whereas the man at Goa Today's helm, it has always been my effort to purvey all that is not just journalistically correct, but ethically correct as well. Yes, morality is something which has constantly got from me the highest priority. Here, I'm not even I don't even have a bit of a hesitation in asserting that I have rigidly adhered to the canons of journalism all along. And this, I suppose, can easily be seen in the matter carried between the covers of the magazine I edit, issue after issue, month after month, year after year. I have never ever deliberately committed the solecism or faux pas, if you like, of holding back the truth. I am referring to the journalistic sin, which even some of the prestigious publications are seen committing these days, of suppressing the truth and suggesting falsehood. Suppressio veri e suggestio falsi, as it is called in Latin. Yes, just odd blemish or two I may have inadvertently committed at times, but for such bloomers on my part would never have been intentional or due to negligence. I have consistently refrained from publishing the unethical stuff, even when its publication would have been perfectly lawful. Because to me, morality comes first and the law afterwards. And going by the positive feedback from the readers of our magazine spread right across the 6 inhabited continents of the globe, leaving out Antarctica of course, I believe I have reason to feel satisfied with the job I have done thus far as editor. Call it my idiosyncrasy or even idiocy, if you like, but it has been my practice all along not to read the issue I have edited after it has been printed. When I do that, I invariably feel distressed because I then realize how I could have improved upon just about everything that got printed. The headlines, the choice of words, the captions, and so on. Moreover, when I discover the typos, the missed punctuation marks, etc., it makes me lose my composure. It makes me even go sleepless. Hence, like Sunil Manohar Gavaskar, India's cricketing little master of STER, who would never take a look at the scoreboard while he batted, I avoid reading the printed periodical I have edited. I just wait for the feedback to come along. When someone says, your latest issue is nice, I feel contented. And at times when something adverse is said about the issue, being a hypersensitive person, it saddens me no end. But then I know I have to take that disappointment in my stride. That's the way it goes. I can recall one hugely embarrassing error the word public got printed without an L in it. I mean, it became pubic, and it was a loss, and I was at a loss to figure out how even those who have been complaining about that poor vision were able to spot it. The first to point out was in fact an octogenarian. Our columnist George Menez is based in Bandra in Mumbai. He called up amusedly saying, Vinayak, there is a hilarious gap in your edit. Public has become pubic. I was shocked beyond words. More such phone calls followed. The situation became so difficult for me that I began to pray for a speedy end to that month. This is the one problem which editors of the monthlies and fortnightlies in particular have to live with, as they have to compulsorily stay embarrassed for a certain period after having committed a mistake. In respect to the dailies, I must say they are relatively in a lot better position, as even their gargantuan gaps are forgotten in pretty quick time, within a few hours in fact. As editor for sure, I have always an opinion on just about everything that is happening, not just in Goa, but in the nation and the globe as well. But I am never opinionated. I mean, if I am convinced about my mistake in holding on to a certain belief, I am ever ready to give it up. That's how every editor to my mind has got to be. Being rigidly opinionated is indeed very, very dangerous. I have never failed to espouse the causes which I have believed to be just. To cite an example, when the script controversy was at its height in Goa, I, with the bottom of my heart, threw my lot with the upholders of the Roman script for Kokani. That's because I saw a lot of merit in their demand. I was convinced that they were being gratuitously wronged, and there was no way I could distance myself from their cause. Similarly, one other major issue where I was called upon to take a stand on of late was as regards the government grants to primary schools in Goa. Believe me, it's my unshakable conviction that the grants to Goa's English medium primary schools are perfectly in order, since those Goans who argue against English have no problem in accepting Marathi also as their mother tongue. I find that aversion to English logic defying. The hullabaloo over the medium of instruction issue was really uncalled for. Since something wrong was being propagated as the truth by some elements, I couldn't get myself to be a passive onlooker of that development. As editor, I thought it was incumbent on me to react. And I did just that, regardless of the fact that by taking up that stand, I antagonized lots of people, most of them from my own GSB, Gurudas R Brahmin community. But that's the price one has to pay when one dares to call a spade a spade. Yes, as editor, I have always believed in speaking my mind. In fact, when Mr. Manohar Parrikar was the chief minister in his early innings, in the late 1990s till 2004 or so, I had shown the intestinal fortitude or guts, if you like, to confront him quite consistently. Through my hard-hitting editorials, I would make my discontent known to him about some of the things which he was not doing the way I wanted him to do. And I had a check to do very much the same when Mr. Digambar Kamath too was found faltering, according to me, in his role as the Chief Minister of Goa. I know one would wonder how I was able to do that. Well, I could do it because I have always believed in being non-partisan. The fact of the matter is that I have neither been anti-Manohar Parrikar at any stage of my tenure as editor, nor for that matter anti-Mr. Digambar Kamath or anti-anybody in particular at any time. But at all times I have been anti-injustice, for sure. You can't call it journalism if the editor, like keeps fawning on, or rather tugging to or sponging on the people in power. It is just the reverse of what you call journalism of courage. I would term it journalism of opportunism. As I just said, I have always believed in fighting for the right causes. That is exactly the way how all those belonging to the fourth estate ought to be conducting themselves. They should make every bit of their journalism smack of their endeavor towards humanism. Yes, I have always looked upon the Alonibet journalism, or the Pili Chap Patrakari, as I would like to term it, with great abhorrence. Hence, the brand of journalism I have tried to provide all these years has never had even a hint of anything elevation in it. One more thing about me as the editor is my total commitment to the job in hand. Interestingly, over the last 25 years, the total number of days on which I have stayed away from work on account of sickness turned up to just 3. That, I suppose, is a definite indication of the relatively clean bill of health I have enjoyed over the years. Personally, I attribute it to my complete abstinence from a brace of deadly vices. I am referring to the addiction of alcohol and nicotine. For that matter, every staffer of Goa today who has worked under my editorship, I am proud to say, has been alcohol and nicotine free. Now a word about what makes me sad about the ad. Honestly, it pains me no end to see even some reputed dailies and periodicals put their cover page virtually out for sale. Even going to the extent of letting it get wholly veiled by the ad. How can one let the advertiser take such liberties with the cover? Even if it means making the publication extremely rich by doing that. At one time, every editor of the dailies in particular would take pride in showing off the front page of his or her paper. That's because that would always be the showpiece of that paper, or rather the face of the paper. Today, unfortunately, for commercial reasons, it has been allowed to get totally defaced. Finally, the key reason for I was really racing. I said right at the start that I would have liked to extrapolate. Finally, the key reason for my extremely comfortable feeling at the request of Goa Today's editorial hierarchy is the near carte blanche I have enjoyed in planning and executing the entire contents of the magazine all these years. So much so that it has almost injected in me the feeling of being not just the editor of Goa Today, but its proprietor as well. And for this, a million thanks to the man owning the magazine, Mr. Dattarai Sarvamkar, former president of the GCCI, whom my appellation has always been Rajba. Here I must admit, at times I may have carried in Goa Today something not quite agreeable to my employer. But he has never ever made a reproachful mention of such things in the course of our numerous colloquies. And that, I reckon, betokens the amount of trust he has in me. Obviously, he is pretty confident that the editorial freedom which he has given to me would never be put to licentious use. French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, at the end of his life, when he was virtually bedridden, is believed to have said that he would never want to exchange his bed for all the thrones in the world. Today, I would say very much the same thing, but unlike Napoleon, the object I would refuse to barter away won't be my bed, but my editorial chair. Thank you so much, all of you, for having listened to me with rapt attention right through the course of this acceptance speech. Also, my special thanks to GCCI for having tried to spur me on with this award, just at a time when the evening of my career in the media is getting ready to set in. My congratulations to all the recipients of the media award. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. That was a torrent of words, hard to match. And he is definitely a supercomputer for words and speed. Now to the next award, exemplary contribution to the press room. She has been in journalism since the early 1980s, both in Mumbai and Goa. Besides, she has headed the bureau for Bangalore's prominent newspaper, the Deccan Herald. She was one of the few experienced journalists on the Herald startup team in 1983, when it changed from being an 8-decade-old Portuguese daily into being an English language newspaper. She's known for her ability to lead a team, to bring out the best in them, and to deliver an excellent product. She's also been with the Indian Express Sunday magazine in Mumbai and reshaped the Goa Today in 1980s. Devika Sequeira, editor, Herald Review. A big applause, please.
I certainly can't match Vinayak, for sure. But considering that the media space for independent and professional journalism is really shrinking, I think the appreciation is much, the consideration is much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That brings us now to the high point of the evening, the Lifetime Achievement Award. This is awarded to an individual for significant achievements which are widely recognized and have made a positive contribution to society. He started his career with Goa's first English daily, the Navin Times, in 1963 and was amongst its first few recruits in the staff, serving there for 14 years, including 9 years as the chief reporter. Intermittently, he was the bureau chief of the short-lived West Coast Times. He joined the Indian Express as a senior staff correspondent in Goa, from where he retired in 1998 after serving in the profession for as many as 37 years. As a journalist, he always espoused the cause of the underprivileged. Shri Singbal also contributed articles, wrote reviews of books written by Goan writers, besides writing fortnightly newsletters covering happenings in Goa. He wrote a weekly column in the Navin Times featuring men and matters for several years under the pen name Bal Singh. Mirror Image was another column started in the Navin Times in post-retirement years. He has taught journalism to youngsters doing their post-graduation in journalism and mass communications at Mushtipan Institute of Journalism and Mass Communications. He was the founder president of Goa Union of Journalists and was its first working chairman of the Press Accreditation Committee. He was awarded the Lakshmi Das Borkar Memorial Award, Outstanding Goan Award of Tarun Bharat for long dedicated service to the profession of journalism. Recently, he was honoured with the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Chief Minister of Goa, Shri Manohar Parrikar. A loud applause for Mr. Gurudas R Singbal, also known as Kaka in the journalistic circle. Sir, a few words from you.
Since all of you are used to listen to this evening's chief guest, I don't want to stand between you and me. But I want to, first of all, thank the Goa Chamber of Commerce for this initiating this Media Awards, and to dignitaries of the days, respected chief guest of the evening, Mr. Prabhu Chawla. Thank you, sir, for finding time from your busy schedule to come all the way to Goa to do us the honors. Personally, I can claim special affinity with Prabhu Chawla because during my days in Indian Express, he was for some time my chief editor. We had no occasion to meet each other personally, but I think today's occasion provides that opportunity. I take today's honor as society's acknowledgement, a pauti for lifetime of honest and dedicated service we have given to the society to the best of our ability. It is good that society recognizes the good work by professionals and makes its own return gesture through institutions like this. Thank you very much. Since eminent journalists like Mr. Prabhu Chawla is in our midst, I would not like to take much of your time, but since this is a media event, I would like to say something related to the media, and please permit me to take 2 minutes more of your time for that. there is no doubt that we as journalists provide very useful service to the society, and individually and collectively, we do very little for ourselves. I am specially referring here to the plight of retired and aged journalists in our country. Though the press is glorified by charmingly referring to it as the fourth estate, unlike employees of other three limbs of the state, the job of a professional newsman is not pensionary. So life becomes a big struggle after retirement. Frankly speaking, I begin to discover the lot of this professional of this fourth estate employee after retirement is no better than a floor salesman in a shopping mall. Like with dwindling bank interest, your own retirement funds cannot yield enough income to give you reasonably decent life. With age, health problems become your permanent companion. Unless you have a wife employed in central government or public sector undertaking who can bring some pension home, or you are lucky to have caring children, all too willing to take care of your needs, life can be one big ordeal. Sometimes in my evening walks in the company of retired ex-government officers from the neighborhood, when I tell them that our jobs are not pensionary like them, they look at me in disbelief and wonder how I can make a living without pension. I am convinced that a contributory pension scheme and reasonable health cover is a must not only for journalists but all sections of working class in this country, from domestic helper to taxi driver and from a plumber to a journalist, because you can't be expected to do a serious work after a certain age. I don't grudge pensionary benefits to government and public sector employees and even to the elected political class. But is it the job of the government only to keep its own employees in comfort? What about other people? Elected representatives vote for pension for themselves even after one term in parliament. When will they begin to think that other classes of people outside the profession or outside the government also need these benefits urgently? It is our job as journalists to remind them on every conceivable occasion that they have to do something in this field quite quickly and urgently. One reason in our country there is discontent, constant turmoil over rising prices is because great majority of working class in non-government sector is unserved by any pensionary benefit, and their purchasing capacity always remains poor, unlike the pensioner class who also get index-related increase in their remuneration and their affordability to buy better comforts of life is higher. Our system needs to be told that empty talk of equality doesn't bring bread home. Freedom has no meaning if fruits of economic growth are not evenly distributed to all sections of our society. My own understanding of Achhe Din is one in which every family will have reasonably good income to afford all the essentials of life. With these words, I say thank you once again and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. I request all the awardees to kindly wait after the function for a group photograph with us. Judging is never easy.